Hello. I bought this kayak last November. I spent most of the winter getting gear for it. Figured I'd share what I got and what I learned. Maybe it'll help some of you, maybe not. Anyways, I'm going to break this video up into different chapters, so if there's something in particular you're interested in, you can just jump to that. Anyways, let's get started. At the front, in Michigan, I live in Michigan, we have the ability to pick different colors for our boat registration. And I saw a lot of boats that had white. To me it looked kind of harsh for the lettering, so I went with yellow, and I really like the way it turned out. I guess I'll start up here at the front with the drag strap. I purchased a Rogue Fishing Company drag strap. I really like it. It makes it really easy to pull the boat out of the water. It helps you stand up while you're in the boat. And the third reason I got it was I saw a video online that it actually helps you right a flipped kayak if you attach the drag strap to one of the side handles. Then you can flip it over the boat. You can step in the handle of the drag strap and use it to assist you in flipping the boat back over. Next I'll cover the Nav Lights. I had two goals when I purchased the Nav Lights. One was I did not want to drill into the hull of the boat. I just bought it. I wasn't comfortable drilling holes in the hull. I might do that at some point in time, but for now, one of the things I did not want to do was drill holes. The second thing was I wanted lights that would meet all the requirements, any Coast Guard requirements for powered vessels. So I wanted them all to be 2 nautical mile viewing range. So for the front, I went with the Guardian Angel. They have some pretty cool products. It's battery operated, it's waterproof, it meets the 2 nautical mile range requirement, and they're very bright. Kind of hard to see in the daytime, but they are very bright. They have an SOS feature, a couple other features. The thing that I liked is they had this strap right here, has a magnetic base, and it's strapped right under the handle of the boat, so it holds it nice and well, and I couldn't be happier with that. So like I said, one day I may drill holes and permanently mount some stuff, but for now this works very well. I'm very happy with these. For the rear nav light, I went with the Railblaza. It works well. Got a flag attached to it. It mounts on the rail with their rail attachment. Like most people say, the thing I don't like about it is the button to activate it. It's tiny and it's hard to activate. You really have to like dig your nail into it to get it to go. But overall, it serves its purpose. It has a couple of different modes. You can look that up if you want. But I like it. The other thing I liked about this particular option was if I'm fishing during the day and I don't want to use the nav lights, I can just pull this out and I can put a flag in its place. Also a Railblaza flag. So I like that option. They both sit in the same socket, and it gives me daytime and nighttime visibility. I also purchased a couple of additional Guardian Angel lights. One I use down here. Again, it's attached with the strap, and I use it for for lighting up the deck of the boat. I bought the, it's orange on one side, white on the other. I like the orange, it's a softer color. Kind of lights up the whole interior of the boat floor when it's really dark outside. So, very happy with that as well. And then I bought a third one that I attached to the seat, which I can use to light up the rear area if I need to. It's also orange and white, or I mean, excuse me, yellow and white. Next is the rails and the attachments. All 4 rails I have Yakattack GT Cleat mounted. I use that for the anchor, for tying off the boat. I also have Yakattack Eyelet, which I leash a lot of stuff down to. In this case, the GoPro mount. But on the other side, I have the paddle, measuring board, and in the back, the flag, light, Nav Light, and another GoPro mount. Next, I'll move on to the rod holders. I had already had these Scotty Rod Holders. They had clamp mounts on them, and I decided to just buy some different mounts to use it on the kayak. So I purchased this arm, this extension arm, and this rail mount. The rail mount, originally I had purchased one of these, and I read that since it screws on to the right, your left, this can come loose if you catch a fish, because the fish is going to yank on it from, it's going to torque it to the left. So these Scotty mounts have 2 tie down bolts, so it does not, it can't be torqued one way or the other. They're not cheap, but they definitely work. And overall, I really like these. I like the ability to, there's a button here you can push, pull this out. When I'm getting in and out of the boat, I can just flip this thing around. It gives me room, you know, entryway to get in and out of the boat. Once I get on the water, I can just flip it back around, and I'm ready to go. On the other side, I went with the Bending Branches paddle. Really like it. It's very light. I don't even remember the exact model number. It's got the little hook for retrieving a lure in a tree. Again, I've got the cleat, the eyelet, and a second rod holder, exactly the same as the other side. For the measuring board, I like this. I got it at Fishing Online. It fits in here well. It's 30 inches. It was hard to find a 30-inch measuring board, but that's what I saw. The original Old Town advertisements all showed this. I will say that when it's on land or in the garage, it fits really well. When it's on the water, it gets pretty snug over here. I'm not quite sure why. I think the boat's flexing a little bit. I also bought a leash, because the hole's right there. It's hard to get a leash that will fit in the boat and still attached to the measuring board. So this leash is basically a fabric, and so it allows it to fit in there. But I've used this a couple times. I'm pretty happy with it. One of the other things I did was I built what I guess I call a power center. It's right over here. It allows me to read the voltage. It's probably hard to see, but it's got a voltmeter. It's got an on-off switch. It's got USB connectors, and it's got a cigarette lighter plug. Basically, that assembly comes. I got it off of Amazon, and then I bought the box also off of Amazon. Drilled the holes, mounted the stuff to it. and then I just run the power. I'll show you in a second here. I use, for the power, I use the SEA connectors and some wire. And then I added a couple of wires to the battery itself. So this is a quick connect kind of thing. I can just pop it on, pop it off whenever I need to, attach to the battery terminals. Use the for the power meter, power box, I use these Ulanzi clamp mounts, basically to a GoPro type mount. And then I bought I don't know if you can see it underneath there, but it's like a tripod mount that goes into the box. So overall, I'm pretty happy with this power box. I don't have a fish finder yet, but I did want to run just a regular old GPS, so that I could see, I could measure my speed. Not really out on any big lakes, but you know, if I ever needed to, I could get a sense of exactly where I'm at. Just as a USB cable coming out over to the power box. For my fishing crate, I'm using the Yakattack Blackpac Pro. I've got the 16 by 16 version, and this is one of the bigger questions that I had, was whether it would fit, how well it would fit. I will say yes, it does fit. However, I've only got 3 rod holders mounted. If you want to mount the 3 on the other side, which you can do, this cannot fit all the way back. The crate has to be all the way forward in order to have 3 on each side, and I'll show you that in a second here. It will fit, but I wanted to have some spare room right behind my seat to throw stuff, so I only mounted 3 of the rod holders. The crate itself I absolutely love. You can get a lot of stuff in there. Got a first aid kit, waterproof first aid kit. I've got the Plano Edge boxes. I really like these, especially this flex box. You can mount a lot of cool stuff in there, and compartmentalize it very well. For my anchor, I have a Yakattack Anchor. I mounted it to this fishing reel. Works very well, so I'm very happy with this. It's a 5-pound anchor. I think I bought these heavy-duty clips off of Amazon, and I bought this anchor line also off Amazon. I'd have to double check to see the diameter. I think it was 3mm line, to be able to spool a lot on there. So the crate comes with these plastic hold-down clips. I guess you're supposed to, you know, run them through the bungee cord. I really didn't feel like untying this knot and then trying to figure out how they tied it. The other thing was, I wasn't quite sure how well the plastic works. This crate is heavy. I mean, I've got a lot of stuff in it, it's heavy. So what I ended up doing was using some stainless steel carabiners, and they work really well. I've got them on the 4 corners, and then I also put them in the handles. So all the way around the kayak, it's or all around the crate, it's held down pretty well. I'm pretty sure if this thing flipped, that the crate would still be with the kayak. So I mentioned if you wanted to have the 6 rod holders in there, if you slide the crate all the way forward, there is plenty of room to allow you to do that. So you could have 1, 2, 3 more on this side. Again, I don't do it simply because I wanted to have a little extra room here. The other thing was having the crate mounted back keeps some of the rods out of my way when I'm casting. So that was the other thing I learned pretty quickly. I used to have the rod holders mounted on this side. I'm right-handed, and I tended to catch them every once in a while, so I had to flip them over to the other side, my non-casting arm side, and that works way better. For the landing net, I've got these Ego landing nets. I use them for the shore. Figured I'd use it for this as well. I really like these things. They have these handles. Let's see if I can get the foot in there that extend, so you can get quite a long reach. And you can also collapse it, and becomes quite storable. So I really like these. I do think I need a deeper one. I've had some fish, you know, almost jump out of this thing. I do have a deeper one that I use for shore fishing. I might switch over to that for the kayak. For the GoPro stuff, I usually run 3 cameras, and I like it. I'll include some footage of on the water running the 3 different cameras. So what I did for the front camera is, again, I have one of these Ulanzi mounts clamped onto the front handle. I bought some of these extension arms, again off of Amazon. Comes in a set of 3, I think, like 11, 6, and 3-inch sections. And then I just power the GoPros with an Anchor power bank. So that's the front one. The back one, I went with the Yakattack. I can't remember the name of the pole at the moment. I'll put it in the description or something. And again, I attached one of these extension arms to the Yakattack. I will say the Yakattack, I'm pretty disappointed in how flimsy this thing is. I have to use this bungee cord to anchor it down to keep it from, I mean, it does have some movement, but if you take this bungee off, it is ridiculous. I mean, this thing just flops all over the place. I cannot believe they can't come up with a better way of attaching that thing. So with the bungee cord attached, it's pretty stable. All my GoPros, I run Hero 9s with the max lens mod and stabilization turned on. I've had no issues with any kind of shakiness or weird stuff happening. So anyways, I mean, I'm happy with it, but pretty disappointed in how bad these things actually mount. Yeah. For my cart, I went with the Wilderness Systems Kayak Cart. Overall, I'm extremely happy with this thing. It maneuvers easily. The kayak gets onto and off of it quite well. Sits on these guide rods really well. And there's a strap, which I do recommend using. You strap through this frame up and over the kayak to keep it secure if you're going to be running into any kind of rough terrain. For the battery, I bought this NOCO Genius 10 battery charger / maintainer, which I'm pretty happy with. It charges the battery quickly. It'll go into a maintenance mode once it's fully charged. It has this quick disconnect, and I mounted another disconnect on the battery itself. So it's just a matter of plugging this in, plugging it into the battery, and letting it charge itself up. So living in Michigan, one of the things I didn't really think about much until I got really close to going in the water was cold water immersion. And once I started doing the research on it, it got kind of scary. So I'll show some charts on what can happen and how quickly it can happen to you. But I decided a dry suit was what I was going to do. I ended up buying this Kokatat. It's I think it's the Angler, I don't remember. Kokatat Supernova Angler semi-dry suit. For boots, I just have these Frog Togs. These work really well. And then for gloves, I went with a really thin scuba diving glove. I think it's a 3mm neoprene glove. I like the material on the inside. I've been very, very happy that I can cast well with these gloves on. So I feel safe on the water. So that's my kayak setup. Overall, I've been very, very happy with it. I haven't found myself wanting for anything yet out on the water. If you have any questions about anything, feel free to leave it in the comments and I'll respond back. But I will say this has been an absolutely awesome kayak so far. I couldn't be happier. Thanks for watching.